Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this FM 2020 Regen Youth Intake Guide. Wow, that's a mouthful. This is all about finding the best Wonderkids in game. As we all know, they're Newgens, have monstrous ability, loads of potential, but they can be hard to come across, especially in FM20, where Sports Interactive have changed the rules. You used to be able to predict what the youth intake day would be for every single country, search through a long list of clubs and snatch the best talent on the cheap. Unfortunately, that's no longer possible. The intake's now by club, so the dates vary so much you just cannot predict it anymore. However, we have a workaround for that. It's not perfect, but it does help me get some mega talent, which you've all seen in my Scarborough Athletic save. You've all been asking for this guide for quite some time now, so I'm going to bring it to you. Okay guys, so this is going to work in a 4-step process. We're going to start by creating a shortlist. We're then going to add new gens every single month to that shortlist. Once we're going to do that, we're going to delete all of the trash and we're going to filter through the shortlist to pull out the gems that we want into a separate shortlist. And you could have more than one shortlist if you like, which is going to be your targets. And then that targets list is what you're going to use going forward in the future to be able to sign the best players at the right time. We're going to explain all that in just a second, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button to get notifications of episodes as and when they go live. And if you enjoy this, give us a thumbs up. It massively does help the channel. Let's just quickly show you a couple of the new gens I've managed to sign using this system. A lot of these are for my York City team. We managed to win the Champions League in just our second season using these guys. And remember, a lot of them were bought back when we were in League 2, League 1, even up to the Championship, but a lot of them below then. So we managed to get them while they had a low reputation and they cost absolutely naff all using this system. Okay guys, so on to step 1. First thing we need to do is create a shortlist. I've called mine Youth Intake, but to get here you go to your Scouting tab, Shortlist, click on whatever your shortlist is at the time, click New Shortlist, type in whatever name, maybe call it Youth Intake, that's the most logical one, and hey presto, you've got your database for your new gens. It's not going to automatically populate, you've got to do some work for that. So next we click on World, you then go to World in the top bar, click on Transfers down the left, and from here you go into Youth Intake, which is in the drop down menu. Boom, there we are. We're going to do this every single month, guys. If you're already some way through your save, you may have a lot of players to add. For instance, in my Atlanta save, which I'm in right now, I haven't added anyone for the whole of the first season. So I'm starting 2020 in January. I'll click the top player, scroll down no more than 500 players because you can't add more than 500 to a shortlist. I'll then hold down Shift, left click, right click, hover over lists, add to shortlist, Youth Intake, and click indefinitely. Once I've done that, I will then left click again and unfollow all. Otherwise you'll end up with a load of players in your newsfeed with loads of crap that you don't want. It can be arduous, but once you get to doing it monthly, it's really quick, guys. So let's move on to step 2. Before we move on to step 2, guys, we're going to download a custom view. This is very important because you need to see all the information necessary to make a buying decision, or at least a shortlisting decision. So the likes of minimum fee release clause is very relevant. A player's personality, his media description, alongside his value and determination attributes, quite important for development. It's the best way of filtering out the real poor potential developers. So to do that to begin with, you're going to go down to the description in YouTube, click onto our website, there's a link there for the Youth Intake Guide. Once you get to there, go down to the second step, it's about halfway down, click the link to get this view, then once you've got it, click on there, hover over custom, click import view, select it from the options that come up, and hey presto, it's here. Order it by determination. I then want you to go into a new search and advanced. I've already selected it, but you can get the determination attribute up from the attributes part of the selection. Click is at the most and then select 10 so that it filters it down to only show you players with 10 or below in determination. We now need to get rid of these guys from our shortlist, so you're going to left click the top one, scroll down no more than 500 players, you're going to hold down Shift, left click, and then right click, hover over lists, remove from Youth Intake. And that will get rid of those players from your Youth Intake shortlist. Repeat this step until you got rid of all these players. We'll come back in just a second after that. Right guys, we're on to step 3, so we're getting to the filtered search bit now. This is where the fun happens. Before I talk about that though, don't forget to untick attribute masking at the start of the game before you even begin to play. If you don't do that upon setup, you won't be able to see all of the attributes required to do filtered searches. So what I usually do at this point is I will now start filtering via position using attributes. So to do this, we need to create a number of different shortlists. I usually create a shortlist for strikers, wingers, midfielders, defenders, fullbacks and goalkeepers. So go ahead and do that now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to filter by each position and pull those players into the new shortlist, the ones that are going to be our targets. So I've now done my shortlist, guys. I've got one for defenders, fullbacks, goalkeepers, midfielders, centre forwards and also wingers. That suits my tactic, that's why I've done it. You should do the same. Next up, we're going to make the filtered search. So edit search, you're going to click on the position. So we'll start with strikers. I've selected the age to 15 to 17 just in case there's any rogue players in there. I'm going to click attribute. We're going to go into the highlighted section, attacking roles. Advanced forward is the one that I usually go for. So I'll click attack. The reason for this is that suits my tactic. This is why I always say it's very important to do these for yourself. Don't always go for what other people say because it may not suit your system. And that's generally the sort of attributes I'd probably look for as a minimum. We'll set this to 10 for the at least attribute bar. Remember, they're only kids, they're very young, so they may have some attributes that are very, very low. We'll click OK and no one's come up. Oh dear. Well, to fix that, what we do is we go back into edit and click the match section. From here, you can say how many attributes as a minimum you expect within your search. So let's go to 8. See, already that's filtered it down to bring up a few players, but we could do with more than that because I also want to specify that we need speed. So I'm going to up the acceleration by 2 because I find acceleration very important within this role, and it's a very difficult attribute to train. So we need players with acceleration. That is then going to filter it even lower, and we'll probably go down to, I'd say, match 7 and possibly up the finishing slightly. And maybe up the pace one as well. You basically just got to play around with this filter until you get an acceptable number of players within your list. There we go. So that's what we've got. Now, the next thing to know is what do I actually look for? Well, determination's half been sorted, but determination, you want good determination, otherwise the player may not develop. Under media description, I like the description of promising. It's always a good one. You could look for, the media descriptions are difficult because lower reputation players may not be shown as a promising player. Likewise, players who are shown as Wonderkids, it doesn't mean that other players aren't Wonderkids. All it means is that they have the high enough reputation that the media perceive them as Wonderkids and a high enough current ability as well. So it's not really relevant to their actual potential. But it is a decent giveaway, looking for the likes of promising striker. Also look for if other clubs are interested. So Fernandez has Athletic, Celta, Espanyol and Valencia interested. He may not be a bad player. Looks half decent. It's probably worth scouting. And that's the key word there. That is what we're looking to do. We're looking to scout these players to get more information, then we can make our own decisions. You'll notice the YTH coming up. That means they're on a youth contract. Some of these guys you may be able to get on an approach to sign, which will make them very cheap. And we've got the minimum fee release clauses here, which is helpful. So we can see that Sergi Mendes is quite cheap on his release clause. Likewise, Fernandez has got a 775k release clause, so he's definitely worth scouting. And the other thing to look for is a person's personality. You want something like a driven, determined, ambitious, professional, resolute, model citizen. There's loads of personalities that you can look for. I would recommend looking at our personality guide to understand those better. I like the looks of Masferrer there. He looks like a really tasty prospect, so we'll definitely be scouting him. But essentially what I'd do is get this up so that we filter it down to the exact type of players that we want, relevant to our tactic, and then to be safe, scroll down to them all, highlight them all, right click, scout, get scout report, select your best scout. I haven't done it because I ain't got time. This is already going to go on long enough. And then you will wait a few days for your scout reports to come back. I'm going to do this for every position, guys, and then we're going to come back once the scout reports come through and show you what you do next. Guys, before you jump across loads of positions and then getting a load of scout reports, I forgot to mention one really important thing. you need to throw every player that you're going to scout into the relevant positional shortlist first before you move on to the next one. Otherwise, it's very hard to know who you've actually scouted, because scout reports can take quite some time to come through. So just to clarify, we'll quickly do one of the positions while you're on. Let's go for the inverted winger role, because I do use that quite often. And again, to give you more information on the filters, I'll probably, within the inverted winger role, get rid of a couple of attributes. I'd probably get rid of anticipation and composure from there, because they can develop over time, being mental attributes. Bring it down to 10, as I mentioned before, 10 out of 13 to be matched. Click on the position just to filter it out that way, and you'll see there's not very many players popped up there, so we probably need to lower a few. We definitely want players with speed, so I want to up that, but we don't necessarily need too much on off the ball movement, because that'll develop over time. Decision making can develop over time as well, so we'll bring that down a little bit. Passing can go down slightly. I'm more bothered about what they do with the ball, and we'll probably leave it at that, I think. So let's pull those players in. Hey presto. Scroll down, right click, put them into the AMR AML targets list. Just make sure I have scouted them. I believe I have, but we'll just make sure. And that's what you should do. So that'll then pull them into the new list. Let's quickly go to AMR AML. There you go, they're all in there. Once we've got scout reports from these guys, which one of them's already come through, and one of them's actually a 5-star potential wonder kid. Yay. We'll be able to go through each and every one, but we'll fast forward a minute and come back for that. Right guys, we're on to the final step, step 4 now. This is where you get all your shortlists together. You've got your DRDL, your DC, your MC, your ST, your wingers, and you've got players in every single one of them. You've got scout reports coming on the way or already through. I'm starting here on the DRDL, the fullbacks, and as you can see, they've all got SCT. That means the scout reports are being done as we speak. They take a little while to come through, but already I'm getting excited. Marius Sprenger, look at this kid, 15 years old. How is that for potential? Now remember, we've not had to search through every single club to find this kid. This has taken me maybe 15 minutes. And he's probably one of the best defenders I have seen in quite some time at that age. Let's have a quick look. 16.5 million. That is a freaking bargain for a player of that sort of value. And they're going to accept 10. Already, for under 10 million, I'll probably get one of the best fullbacks within 15 minutes of scouting. That is ridiculous. Bart Levens. He doesn't look a bad player at all. Really high determination, bravery, good mental attributes. Would get a scout report on him before I dove in though. Now I do know that the striking scout reports have started to come back already. So what we'll do here is another way of looking as well is literally ordering by potential. So Dylan Munro, he's down as a promising striker. That's a really great start. Driven personality, massive tick. Plays in Scotland, he's got to be reasonably cheap surely. He's got good finishing, flair, off the ball movement. He's reasonably fast and that'll only develop. He's 16 years old. I'm quite liking what I'm seeing so far. If we click on the scouts report, let's have a quick look, see if it's got any red alarm bells. Might have problems with injuries. That's not great. But this is what I'm saying. You can look through the scout report, get a good feeling. He's extremely interested in joining. I really like the looks of this kid. We've already made an offer for him earlier just so I could see how much he'd cost. They're already accepting 7.5 million, so I can get this kid probably for near a 5, maybe even under. Julen Santisteban, I can't even pronounce that name. He doesn't look a bad player at all, but I don't like his fickle personality. This is what I'm saying, you've got to go through all the players and just get a good rounded view of which ones you like and who you're going to offer for. Let's quickly have a look at the MCs, because I'm sure I saw someone in that search that I liked. Here we go, I've found him. It's Hal Vorsen. The reason I like him is he plays the Molder, so he's extremely cheap. Yes, his physicals aren't very good, but I cannot wait for this scout report to come through. Those attributes are really well rounded, and remember I play advanced playmakers, so the physical attributes aren't as important because he's in a supporting role. I need him to pass, have vision and spray the ball around, but those mentals are really tasty, and at 475 quid value I should be able to get this kid very cheap. Yeah, 900k is the maximum they're going to ask for, so I can probably even get him for 500k, I would imagine. We keep playing around with that. Anyway, he would be big profit. This is how you do it, guys. I can go through these all day long and we'll come up with all sorts of brilliant Newgens, and it's down to you and how well you can scout players and how well you understand what you're actually looking for in a player as well. But you've now got the tools to use to be able to find them. You manage it every single month, and yeah, that's about it, guys. If you've got any questions, chuck them in the comments. Maybe even go into the guide on footballmanagerstory.com, have a good read up on there again if you need to familiarise yourself with anything. And just catch me on Twitter, catch me on the comment section. I'm more than happy to talk about these things. Right, guys, I've talked way too long. Subscribe, hit the bell button. Really would appreciate if you hit that like button as well. And I'll see you with the next guide, which hopefully will be along very soon. You can always follow us on the Seed Dogs Can Fly series. That one might help you all greatly as well. You get to see me, how I play in-game, and the sort of Wonderkids I'm getting out of that save. We're now in the Championship, so hopefully in the Premier League very soon from level 7. See you later, guys.